This is Seawolves. Storm? Or not.
It's another soggy Monday morning, Seawolves. And if you observe Yom Kippur, may you be inscribed in the book of life. Public schools and students like my neighbors, Emily, Claire, and Brendan, are off. But us Seawolves are back in the beginning of our 5th week of the semester and the unfortunate start of midterms. As a reminder, this broadcast is brought to you by the students at the School of Communication and Journalism and their friends at the School of Marine and Atmospheric Sciences. Speaking of which, my SOMAS colleagues and I know why the weather is so gloomy, and it's thanks to once tropical storm Ophelia after forming in the Atlantic. It made landfall on Emerald Isle, North Carolina, with near hurricane-force winds. Its effects were felt throughout the East Coast, with damaging winds, heavy rain, coastal flooding, and dangerous ocean conditions. On Long Island, we were thankfully spared from some of the worst weather. However, it's the same reason why we're still feeling the wrath of Ophelia. A large high pressure to our north has stopped the movement of the storm, giving us rainy, breezy weather since Friday, which will continue into tomorrow morning. To get a real look at the conditions we are currently facing, we go to Taylor Fitzgerald with our one-day forecast. Taylor?
Thanks, John, for the detailed explanation about what's been going on the past couple of days with Storm Ophelia. We're still feeling the effects of the storm today, as it's going to be rainy and misty all day, with a high of 63, a low of 59, and winds averaging around 24 miles per hour. Make sure you leave your house prepared today, unlike me. Grab that raincoat and that umbrella as you walk out the door, and try to stay dry. Back to you with the desk, John.
Thanks, Taylor, and now to a recent tragedy on campus. Late last week, Chimni Vashi, a first-year student from India, was found unresponsive in his dorm room at O'Neill Hall. He was rushed to the hospital and pronounced dead. Rick Gatto of Student Affairs said that Vashi's death is not considered suspicious. The administration will not release further details, citing respect for Vashi's family. Chimni Vashi was a computer science major who had a productive year at Stony Brook. In July, he bragged on LinkedIn about the publication of a research paper he wrote. So let's remember Vashi for his achievements, and our sympathy is with his friends and family. In less somber news, there has been a scientific breakthrough. The OSIRIS-REx spacecraft has successfully collected a sample of the Bennu asteroid and brought it back to Earth. NASA's first mission to sample an asteroid, OSIRIS-REx, launched on September 8, 2016 at 7:05 p.m. from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. OSIRIS-REx was guided and arrived at the Bennu asteroid on December 3, 2018. It spent 2 years looking for a collection site and finally got it and returned back to Earth on May 10, 2021, with its arrival happening yesterday. Wow, that's amazing. This spacecraft has been in the works since I was a freshman in high school. But why is that so important? We turn to Chief Astronomer Derek Pitts.
The reason why the samples were taken is because asteroids represent sort of like a deep freeze history repository from the early history of our solar system. I mean, if you want to learn about what the solar system was like when it was first forming, the place to look is in asteroids. Asteroids kind of exist as an undisturbed relic, if you will, an undisturbed sort of vault of what the early conditions were like. And so for us to learn about that and learn more about how the Earth formed, it's good for us to study asteroids.
Returning back to Earth, we have Costa Salakouridis, who will give us our 7-day forecast. Costa?
Thanks, John. Ophelia is leaving quite an impression on our live feed of Port Jefferson, courtesy of EarthCam, with a view covered in raindrops and dew. And after a rainy, windy, and gloomy weekend, if you're looking for sun, you're not going to find much of it in this forecast, too. We can expect showers from today to finally clear up by tomorrow morning. However, the clouds and wind will remain, with gusts over 25 miles per hour and temperatures steady in the lower 60s and upper 50s. Wednesday will be mostly cloudy with peaks of sun and breezy, with winds at about 10 to 20 miles per hour and a high of 67 and a low of 55. Looking ahead, we can expect more of the same Thursday and Friday, with a high of 66 and a low of 58. There is a storm system that could possibly affect the area Friday night into Saturday, bringing another round of rainy weather with a high of 68 and a low of 58. The weather should clear out for a sunny Sunday with a high of 72 and a low of 59. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We just have to get through this week. Now to sports with Michael Anderson.
Thanks, Costa. In regards to all of our favorite local teams, barely any of them can say they had a good week. The Mets were swept by their arch-rival Philadelphia Phillies in 4 games to end the week on the sourest note possible. On the other end of the subway line, the Yankees were officially eliminated from playoff contention yesterday for the first time since 2016. Their 7-1 loss to the Arizona Diamondbacks yesterday put the official final nail in their season's coffin. Believe it or not, things were worse in football. On Thursday night, the Giants' 30-12 loss to the 49ers was a cautionary tale of the sports weekend to come. Arguably, the more frustrating loss was the Jets, who also fell to 1-2 with their 15th consecutive loss to the arch-rival New England Patriots. For context, the Jets' offense surrendered more points than the defense in the second half, yet they still lost 15-10. Now to school sports. The Stony Brook football team fell to 0-4 on the year. Much like the Jets, their defense was superb as it generated 5 takeaways against the Richmond Spiders. However, the Seawolves failed to capitalize and fell a point shy, losing 20-19. Women's volleyball had a night and day performance down in South Carolina, splitting a 2-match series with the Charleston Cougars. Sunday's win was their first win of the conference season, improving them to 5-9 overall and 1-3 against CAA opponents. Women's soccer, who started the year so well, continued its recent slide on Sunday when they lost a 1-0 heartbreaker to Monmouth in New Jersey. Stony Brook is now just 1-2 in conference play, despite boasting one of the best offenses and defenses in the CAA. The men's soccer team was the saving grace of our local teams, as they drew even with the Northeastern Huskies 1-1 up in Boston. By salvaging a point in the standings, the Seawolves maintained a sole possession of first place in the CAA. As for me, I'm a little more concerned, interested, however you want to put it, about what the Jets have going on at quarterback. Zach Wilson has been historically horrible ever since he took over in 2021, and without Aaron Rodgers, I think they need to make a change. If they want to make a change before the next game, they've got to make it today or tomorrow. We'll see. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Michael. Hopefully it can't get any worse in the sports world, but it looks like good weather for the writers of the Guild of America. They have reached a tentative deal with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television, producers potentially ending the historic 146-day writers' strike. Hollywood writers have been seeking residuals, a minimum number of writers working in TV writing rooms, and an end to AI scripts in Hollywood. The Screen Actors Guild has yet to make a deal with the AMPTP, but let's hope for a happy resolution for our favorite actors. That's all we have for today. Tune in next week. Once again, I'm John Tafe, and have a fantastic day, Seawolves.
This is Seawolves. Storm or not.